That you see is called the wet dry line. This bottom one is the wet line, which is where the maple syrup sap gets collected and runs all down into the holding tank. The vacuum actually doesn't create it's not like a conventional vacuum, it just helps to create a negative pressure. So during the day, they like to see the temperature deviation. So what it does is when it gets warmer during the day, the sap actually leaves the roots and heads up to the tree, up to the top. When it gets cooler at night, it comes back down, and then it gets collected in the taps that you see on the back side of the tree here. So he has between 600 and 700 taps on all of his property here. He is a small craft producer. Some of the bigger producers have thousands of taps. If they're a major producer like Quebec, they could have up to 100,000 taps in their entire operation. They also have full-time staff that's all that they work on and do. The lines do stay up all year long. They do take them off in the springtime when they're done, and they fill them with isopropyl alcohol for sterilization. And then in the springtime when it starts over again, probably about mid-January, they'll start walking the lines and checking them for any holes that are put in by squirrels or any vacuum leaks that happen. They need to correct those before the season starts to maximize their operation and the vacuum on for their yield. So like I say, they stay up all year long. Deer can be a bit of an issue sometimes. It's not so much here, but in the bigger producers up north, moose are an issue because moose will just walk through the bush and just take the lines down. They're like a bulldozer. They go where they want. So they can be a bit of a nuisance and create some damage. You can see the trees that are ringed in yellow here. He does have somebody come in and mark out the trees that potentially need to be taken out, because he likes to keep the bush in healthy condition. So he will have those trees removed just to keep the sugar bush in prime condition. So each one of these taps, like you said, the lines are walked multiple times a year. He does have 4 sections throughout the whole sugar bush here. What behind you, the section behind you is the hill section. He has the lake section down there, and he's got a couple of south sections that they actually run all the way down to the far corner tree line down there on the end. He's got miles and miles of line out. And like I say, each one of them gets walked and checked by hand every year. So, and then again at the end of the season, he comes along and each one of these taps will be taken out. So you'll see that in a season, what he'll do next year is instead of, he won't tap in the same location, he'll come over and down. So he'll rotate around the tree as he goes throughout for the following seasons. He also does have a special measuring device that he can measure the diameter of the tree, and he'll do it this way and then 90 degrees, and there's a formula he uses. Any trees under 12 inches, they will not tap because they're too small. Bigger ones like this potentially could have 2 taps per tree, but Peter doesn't like to do that. So he just, his rule of thumb is 1 tap per tree. So on average, he will yield 1.5 to 2 liters of sap per tap. So depending on if it's a good season, he could get up to 2 liters. On a season that's not quite so productive, it'll be 1.5.